Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode. In this one, we are looking at Galaxy Next Generation, which has taken another hit in price on Friday, being down about 12.5%. The question for this one is, after a whole week of decreases in price, is Galaxy a buy now, or should you hold your stock, or should you sell your stock, or ultimately, should you be worried? Well, of course, I am not a financial advisor, as you know, so please make sure to do your own research and find your own opinions as well. But in this one, I'm providing my personal opinion and my personal looks into the future. So if that sounds like a plan, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel, because we are trying to grow the channel as fast as possible. You guys have been killing it recently. We are about to touch 10k. Let's get past 10k and on our goal to 100k. So let's jump into the episode now and have a look at Galaxy over the past week. So, Galaxy in the past 5 days has seen quite a lot of negative action. You can see the majority of this was coming from about the 18th onwards, and the reason why this one stayed positive for the start of the week when a lot of other penny stocks dropped was specifically due to the catalyst which we had for Galaxy, which was obviously the earnings for the stock. Now, earnings were pretty good, I do believe. We looked at this in a previous episode, and of course, once those earnings came out, we saw another day of positivity, as I think this was an indication to many people that this company has real potential. But on the other hand, a lot of people obviously got in at a cheaper price, knowing that the earnings were coming out, and of course, as soon as those earnings come out, or at least a day after, they sold their position, making quite a big profit. Now, this is a good thing for them, and fair play to them. If they've made a big profit off those earnings, I understand that, but obviously, on the other hand, it's forced the stock price down a little bit, and that is what people are worried about. Now, on top of this, I do believe that Galaxy Next Generation is a stock which is kind of hyped at the minute, or at least it was, especially sale that we have been seeing, or at least pre-sell off. I think this is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think what it's resulted in is a lot of people kind of invest in this stock, think it's going to the moon, and not understanding what comes with that. And when I'm talking about this, guys, even if Galaxy is going to $1, $2, whatever you think it's going to, we all know that it's not going to hit it overnight. It's not just going to be a straight rocket up, and it is going to see days in the red. And I think as soon as this one wants to drop by about 21% in one day, I think a lot of people did get pretty scared with this stock. I think that has also caused a bit more of a sell-off into the next few days, and it's just caused it to sell off and off and off and off. And I think now a lot of people are a bit apprehensive to be buying Galaxy. Well, of course, it is a penny stock, and that does give it its own specific risks with it being so cheap, because obviously the price can fluctuate so much and all that kind of stuff. But personally, I do believe that the fundamentals of Galaxy are pretty amazing. I talk about this in almost every episode, but what they do with online education really does have the potential to change things in the future. We all know that children right now get homework, and a lot of children are actually also educated online, and it's little things like this which can be done through a service like Galaxy, which is pretty cool. I think it does definitely give it some expansion potential going forwards. So right now, at the current price of 4 cents, we are a bit higher than we previously were at the price of about 3 or 2 cents only a few weeks ago. But right now, I definitely think it is a decent buy. It's sold off by a significant amount, and I think that's not too bad. I think if you are investing in Galaxy, though, I think you probably understand that it's not a stock that's going to explode overnight, but it does have potential to explode in the next 2 or 3 years, or maybe even the next year. So right now it is down quite significantly over the past week. A lot of stocks were down this week anyway, so that's also kind of, reassuring. But right now I think that Friday was pretty flat, to be honest. I mean, yes, we were ever so slightly in the red with about 1.2% decrease, but in comparison to some of the other stocks, it's really not that bad. I think going into next week, I would like to see this one be positive. Towards the end of session from about 1 o'clock, we can see that it was pretty flat, but actually from this point here at about about 3 o'clock, we saw a bit of an increase towards the end of session. Is this an indication of things going into Monday? Well, we're not talking about a forecast into next week in this episode. We're doing that tomorrow, but personally, I do believe that next week is going to be quite positive. So ultimately, the question that you want to hear, would I buy Galaxy right now? Honestly, I already have some Galaxy shares. I've talked about this before. I bought this one back where it was at like 5 or 6 cents, and actually it went up a bit from there. I could have sold off with like a £300 profit, but honestly, I think that Galaxy is one of these stocks that is a buy and hold. That's my personal belief. And you know what? I think it is going to fluctuate in price. Some days it's going to be down, some days it's going to be up. That's just how it goes. But I think if you are willing to hold this one for the next few years, it definitely does have that potential to pop off and really make some money in the future, hopefully. But please do bear in mind, it is a speculative play and we just don't know where it is going. But yeah, talking about whether you should hold it if you already own it. Well, personally, like I said, I bought mine kind of at the high point. I mean, it wasn't at the 8-cent range or the 7-cent range. It was back at the 6-cent range or even the 5-cent range, but it is still relatively high in price. And obviously, I have lost money on this investment, but right now, I still do believe it is more of a long-term hold. I think that's what people need to be aware of. So right now, I definitely would consider this one a buy if you are understanding the risks that do come with it and the fact that this is more of a buy and hold investment rather than a stock that's going to pop off overnight. But next week will hopefully be positive for us, but I just wanted to make a video, talk about my opinions on this one selling off over the past week, and I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think this one did need a bit of a correction in price, honestly. I would have only liked it to be by about 1 or 2 cents, but you know what? It's been by about 3 or 4 cents. Not even that bad, to be honest. I mean, yes, it is about 50% from the highs that we are down, but I think it definitely will recover to that 8-cent range in the next few months for sure, maybe even the next few weeks or the next few days. I definitely wouldn't anticipate it happening in the next few days, but that is more of a conservative approach because we just don't know. It is going to be pretty explosive whether it's going to be up or down, and it is going to be pretty volatile, and that is something that people ultimately need to be aware of. But right now, I think, you know, if you'd have bought in at those 8-cent highs, it's obviously not the best price that you could have got in, but I think if you hold this one for the next year, you'll definitely see it go past that 8-cent range, maybe even to that $1 range, who knows. But please do tell me what you think down in the comment section. Are you buying more Gaxy shares, or are you avoiding? Are you selling at a loss because you don't believe in the company anymore? I want to hear what you have to say down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye until then.